never find a player such as mine. What's up, good people? It's your boy. I'm back with another video. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Los Angeles Lakers. Should the Los Angeles Lakers explore trading for Derrick Rose? If you're asking my opinion, no. But if you start looking at all the pieces involved, all the people that are involved that wants this to happen, if this trade happens, it's going to be for the simple fact of I want to play with my friend. This is one of those I want to play with my good friend type of moves. This is one of those trades where I want to be around my good buddy, my buddy-o. That's what, because basically Derrick Rose, now if you would have gotten Derrick Rose of the Chicago Bulls back in the day in his prime, I can understand getting a trade like this. But we're talking about Derrick Rose, who just came off surgery, who's just now, when I say just now come off surgery, it's not like he had surgery last year, but he's coming back to some type of form from a couple of seasons ago, all right? This is not the same explosive Derrick Rose from the Chicago days, the Chicago Bulls days, when they were in competition with the Cleveland Cavaliers, when LeBron James was in the when LeBron James was a member of the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's not that same Derrick Rose that the Lakers are going to be getting. All right, they're going to be getting a journeyman with some a lot of grit to him. If they need a replacement for Rondo and Derrick Rose, all right? But this is clearly not a basketball move. This is not getting Derrick Rose does not mean it guarantees you to winning a chip, all right? And you're going to have to give up so much on your roster, so much on your bench to even get the services of Derrick Rose. Folks, you have to remember, the Lakers mortgage their future and their primetime years with the younger players that they already established under the Lakers. When you talk about Ball, when you talk about Brandon Ingram, and they gave up a lot of those pieces, plus a lot of draft picks just to get Anthony Davis. So to get Derrick Rose, you're going to have to give up a lot of your personnel, well, most of your personnel on the bench, meaning you're going to have a shorter bench, all right? Instead of the bench that they had this year that won them the title. Now, I'm here to tell you guys that the Los Angeles Lakers bench was not deep by any stretch of the imagination. But they had players that knew their role, all right? And that's, in essence, what you're going to get with Derrick Rose. Okay? So, they're going to have to give up a lot of... they're going to have to give us some acquisitions for Derrick Rose. And they're going to have to match Derrick Rose's salary with the Detroit Pistons to what salary that they have on their roster. Obviously, they're going to give up my boy Kuz. I like to call him Kuzman. All right, I don't call him Kuz because that's the cool name. All right, and I'm not gonna call him that until he runs it back in the playoffs and redeem himself from the pathetic performance he had this postseason. By the way, he was non-existent. All right, they got his face on a milk carton. Have you seen this person? He didn't contribute to any of the series, all right? And this was the one that Jeannie Buss wanted to keep. This was the guy that LeBron James was semi-cool with, okay? So You got rid of all those other guys to keep this guy with AD, even though the New Orleans Pelicans wanted him in the trade package. So you could have literally kept either Ingram or Ball and let them have Kuzma. His name is Kuzma. That's his name. Kuzma, until he redeems himself from that pathetic performance he had this postseason. You're Kuzma now, right? Anyway, where was I? Okay, so they kept Kuzma, and now they're going to use Kuzma as well as some other pieces to somehow engineer a draft or a trade to get Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose, that's probably on his last years. All right. If the Lakers are going to draft Derrick Rose, obviously there's going to be games where he's going to start, and that's going to take a lot of wear and tear off of LeBron James' body. All right. So he can literally run the point while LeBron James either takes a breather or, in certain matchups, they can put LeBron James at the 3 where he's supposed to be. He's not worth it. I know he's not worth it. He's not worth it. I know he's not worth it. For the Lakers, I know he's not worth it for the Lakers. But like I said in the beginning of this live stream, if this happens, if somehow, some way the Los Angeles Lakers trade for Derrick Rose, this is not going to be a basketball decision. This is going to be, it's my friend. It's my pal. He loves the king. The king loves him. We got to give the king what he wants. If the king wants Derrick Rose, we have no choice but to give him Derrick Rose. That's all this is going to be. This is not going to be a basketball decision. This is not going to be a salary dump decision. This is clearly a decision to please the king. All right? And by the way, I have no quarrels with LeBron James, with LBJ, the king. I have no quarrels with them. I'm not like most of these content providers that make 1,000 videos dissing the king. Only made 2 videos telling you guys that no matter what the king does, he's never going to replace arguably the most greatest basketball player in NBA history, past or present. And that is one Michael Jeffrey Jordan. He's the original GOAT. There's no other GOATs. There's no substitution. LeBron James is number 2, but he's never going to be number 1. Not with 4 championships at 10 attempts. Even if they win a ring. Well, look, I'm okay. Let's get off that. Let's talk about this trade. Let's get off that, okay? Because I don't want people to think I'm hating on the king. I'm not hating on the king. I respect the king, okay? Long live the king, all right? But I digress. Let's get into this. And I know some people commented, and I can't. Here's the funny thing about YouTube. I can't pull the Jesus. Anyway, so if you're there, message me back, and then I'll read your message. I apologize. I went on a little rant. Now your message has been retracted. I don't know why, but it is what it is. But if anyone sends a message from here on out, I will read it. All right. So I'm so sick of these alerts on my Twitter page. All right. So basically, if this happens, this is a good buddy. I want to play with my friends instead of we need to make trades that's going to make our team better, because everyone else in the West is going to get better. All right. The Golden State Warriors, there's a trade involving Bradley Beal. So obviously they're going to get better. All right. The Phoenix Suns that have been consistently drafting the right players, They're going to get better. Now, are they going to be better to dethrone the Lakers? No. But it's going to make it interesting if they're in a series, all right? Who else I'm missing? I talked about the Golden State Warriors. I talked about the Phoenix Suns. I think the Memphis Grizzlies are going to get a little bit better, okay? The Rockets are going to always be the Rockets if they keep their core. If they keep Russell Westbrook and they keep James Harden. Like I told you in previous videos, the Rockets are good enough to where they're going to have great regular seasons, but when it matters the most, the postseason, they don't have enough pieces to capitalize and win series or to win a championship. They're going to be too damn good to get the number 1 pick in the NBA draft or the top 10 pick in the NBA draft. But they're not good enough to advance in the postseason. That's what you got there. Now, if everything stays mutual, like with the Oklahoma City Thunder, if they keep Chris Paul, that's an interesting team. They're gonna make a lot of chaos next season. All right. So you got that going on. You got who else I'm missing? Okay, the Clippers, of course. The Clippers, they're gonna still be good. All right. The Sacramento Kings, they're going to make things interesting. So the point I'm making is a lot of teams in the West are going to get better, okay? The West is going to be the best, okay? That's going to be the best conference, all right? And when you talk about the East, you know, the Lakers can make some noises. They got a couple of pieces that they can move around to make their roster better. I just did a video this morning talking about the Heat and the possibility of them getting DeMar DeRozan. I think that's okay, but they're more pieces away if they want to run it back. All right. The Celtics are still going to be there. The Bucks are still going to be there. All right. The Brooklyn Nets, we're finally going to see, and these two players are going to grace their presence in front of us. All right. Which is Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. We got to see how that dynamic works. But since they're good friends, because this is the era we're living in. Instead of playing with people that that compliment you, now you're playing with people that are your friends. They're your buddies. They're your pals. All right, and it's too much buddy pal in today's league. I don't think a lot of these players would make it in the 80s or in the 70s or in the 60s, okay? Because and look, I don't want to be the old guy on the porch, all right? But I just call it like it is. Those eras, it took a lot more than just being athletic, okay? So and the defense back then is miles different to the defense. It's non-existent now, all right? So but there I go. I go off, and I need to pull myself back into this original argument, which is Derrick Rose. This is clearly not going to be a basketball decision. This is going to be a buddy, friend type of, and it really depends on if LeBron James wants this done. Anthony Davis, he's either or with this, so he doesn't mind for this to be done. All right. And, long as he's playing alongside Boogie Cousins is also going to be making a comeback, okay? I don't know if the Lakers are going to, re-sign him to another 1-year extension. I don't know. But the likelihood is probably to please Anthony Davis, because Anthony Davis turned down the extension with the Lakers, all right? So, yet again, he's playing another year where he could stay with the Lakers. He could not stay with the Lakers. And then you're going to be hearing all these storylines when the Lakers get a couple of losing streaks. Oh, well, is Anthony Davis really committed with the Los Angeles Lakers? I mean, after all, he didn't sign the extension. Okay, you're going to be hearing that type of nonsense next season. All right. But nevertheless, I feel like with this Derrick Rose thing, like I said, it's and if you got comments, go ahead and start commenting. Otherwise, I'm probably going to end this, because there's really nothing else to say about this trade. Now, in other trade news, while we're waiting on you guys to comment, all right, Blake Griffin, there's a market out there for Blake Griffin, believe it or not. A lot of teams are exploring options as far as trading for Blake Griffin. Here's my opinion with Blake Griffin. He's in the wrong, he came up in the wrong era, okay? He's a big, that's explosive, that's athletic, okay? Just like Andre Drummond's, okay? I feel like these two guys are in the wrong era, okay? If they was in the 80s, they will have long careers, okay? Because they can utilize their talents, okay? Now you're in an era where all the teams can shoot jumpers. Even the bigs can shoot jumpers consistently, okay? Even the bigs play around the three-point line, okay? And that's not Blake Griffin's forte, all right? So, but there is a market for Blake Griffin. And I think in the Utah Jazz, let's not forget about the Utah Jazz. I think the Utah Jazz are, they're going to make things interesting next year too, okay? They made, and also the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks made things interesting, okay? Technically, the Clippers should have lost to the Dallas Mavericks if your boy didn't go down, all right? So, Luka Doncic, okay? So, Luka, if he didn't go down, there's a possibility where the Clippers could have lost even earlier before they matched with the Utah Jazz, okay? But like I said, there's a lot of teams out there that's only going to get better in the West. That's the point I was making, all right? And if you're trying, and I'm going back to the Lakers, if you're trying to run it back, this is not one of those moves that's going to get you to run it back, okay? This is going to be one of those type moves that you're going to make it now, and then midway in the season, you're going to be like, damn, I don't think we should have made that move. Even though the players, we didn't lose any sleep on the players that we had, you could have used those players to get more pieces for your roster instead of putting them all together just to get Derrick Rose. Okay, I just don't think. Now, if Derrick Rose is released by the Detroit Pistons, okay, go ahead and pick him up, all right? It's not going to cost you anything, all right? Now, back to Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin, there's a market for Blake Griffin, and we're just going to have to wait and see who wants Blake Griffin. Now, I have an insider that told me on Twitter, do not be surprised if the Portland Trail Blazers and the Detroit Pistons are involved in a trade, either between the two or a 3-team trade deal. Okay, so I'm just here to tell y'all, I'm just giving you a gem right there. Do not be surprised if the Detroit Pistons and the Portland Trail Blazers are entertaining some type of trade proposal. All right, so that's what I got from that, all right? But anyway, I don't see any more comments, and I'm about to just end this live stream. But like I said, I wanted to talk about that. But if this happens, then clearly this happened on the dime of playing with your friends, all right? Just playing with your friends, all right? That's pretty much what it was, all right? Now, Derrick Rose's wife talked about the trade. And I'm pretty sure she wants to go back to La La Land. I'm pretty sure that Derrick Rose and his girlfriend are not too fond of the Detroit weather, even though they're in the offseason, even though they're probably in Miami or in LA right now. They wouldn't mind extending that if he was a member of the Los Angeles Lakers, just living in La La Land full term instead of only the off season. I'm pretty sure they would like to entertain that type of scenery instead of the scenery that you see with the Detroit Pistons. All right, pretty sure they would love to see that. Okay, but it makes sense if Derrick Rose wants to move to La La Land. It makes sense for his girlfriend. It makes sense for LeBron James wanting to play with his buddy. Remember, LeBron James played with Derrick Rose with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and look how that wound up. Okay, look what happened there. Okay, wasn't a smashing success. All right, and LeBron always. I mean, LeBron has a great relationship with Derrick Rose. All right, so that's his good friend. Okay, his pal, his bud, and a lot of these guys want to play with their friends. Okay, and I'm not shaming it. But at the same time, when it's okay to have friends on the other team. It's okay to have friends in the league, okay? But I feel like it's way too friendly in today's NBA. And sometimes it straddles the fence of being competitive, okay? I'm not going to be like Charles Barkley and say, well, just because, everybody want to be friends, but that's why we don't have no competition among the two teams. Everybody wants to play together. I'm not going to go that far with it, but I will say sometimes it sort of straddles the fence of being competitive, all right? Sometimes it straddles it sometimes, all right? Sometimes you don't know which way it's going to fall off, all right? So that's what I will say, all right? I'm not going to go all the way like Charles Barkley and a lot of veteran players. I think this is their league, okay? I think this is how they want to play, okay? And either you respect it or you agree to disagree, okay? But to simply just disrespect it and then say they're weak, they're soft, they don't want to compete no more, I think you're going to another extreme, okay? But I will say it's a different era, okay? Just like everything in sports. I think sports ultimately it revolves through time, okay? It's not the same that it was 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, okay? The evolution of sports is constantly changing on a daily basis, okay? It happens in the NBA. Even in the NBA, with the rules, how they have them that protect the quarterback in the NBA is different from 10 or 20 or 30 years ago. Same with Major League Baseball. Any type of professional sports, it's going to evolve over time. That's basically what it is, all right? And for anyone like Charles Barkley, the absolutes out there that say that these guys are not competing, these guys are too soft, these guys couldn't last. These guys, are the competition factor. They want to be bud. They want to make super teams and team up and all that stuff. I will say it straddles the fence as far as being competitive, but you have to respect. And you have to either respect or agree to disagree on how these guys are moving the league today versus being a hater and just, disagreeing with everything that these guys are doing and to say that these guys don't want to compete. I think that's really taking it, beyond what it's supposed to be. All right. So, yeah. I'm done with this. The Derrick Rose angle, I think we talked enough about it. Well, we'll have to wait and see. But like I said, if this happens, to me, in my personal opinion, this is not a basketball decision, a financial decision where we're dumping salary. This is clearly, I want to play with my bud, LeBron James, and LeBron James wants to play with Derrick Rose. And a lot of things LeBron did in Cleveland made sense, but then there were some other decisions that he coincided with the Cleveland Cavaliers that simply did not make sense. And when he was with the Miami Heat, Pat Riley, even though his door was open and he listened to Dwayne Wade and LeBron James, ultimately the final decision was Pat Riley. And I think that's the reason. I'm gonna do a video about that, guys. I did a video like that on my older channel about how Pat Riley and LeBron James came to the point where, once again, LeBron James took his talents to South Beach and really, to clear, to make it, I can just say it right here. Basically, the real reason why LeBron James took his talents out of South Beach and back to Cleveland, it wasn't because he couldn't get what he wanted. He wanted influence and final say. And I think there's a difference between getting what you want and having the ability to control your faith, your dynasty, your future. I think the two are not the same. And LeBron James thought that, you know what, I can win championships without doing the Pat Riley way or the Dwayne way, or the Magic Johnson's way. Or because he's, if you've been paying attention to LeBron James, he even said that about Michael Jordan when everybody said, well, if you want to be like considered one of the greats like Michael Jordan, you have to do it his way. And LeBron said, "Nah, fam, I'm not doing that. I can win just as many championships or more doing it differently than what Michael Jordan did." Okay, and a lot of people try to pin those two guys together, but Michael Jordan has respect for LeBron James, okay? And likewise, LeBron James equally has respect for Michael Jordan. The fact that people try to pin them together, make it a versus battle between LeBron James and Michael Jordan, I mean, to me, and I said this earlier in the live stream, there's nothing wrong with being number two. When it's all said and done, LeBron James is never going to eclipse or even be equal to Michael Jordan, because there's a lot of things Michael Jordan has done that LeBron James simply hasn't on a team level. I think individually LeBron James is an overall better player, in the past, present, maybe in the future, okay, because he's going to be holding all the stats. But those individual stats don't, it doesn't blemish what you have done as playing with a unit or with a team. All right, because there's a lot of things. Because you have to, with Michael Jordan, you have to respect the fact that he did it all in Chicago. And when it started, when he got drafted to Chicago, he was at the bottom. All right, and then slowly during the course of time, it got a little bit better. All right, and then when Chicago started, drafting players that fit around Michael Jordan, finding the right coach, when it all started clicking, then they started winning titles. Then he started winning MVPs. Then they started back to back and three-peat. I feel like that's the one thing that's missing from LeBron James' resume. If he can win a three-peat, that would be awesome, okay? But he has never done it, okay? And it's hard to three-peat on one team. It's extremely hard to six-peat with one team. And that's why a lot of people will take that away from LeBron James, because ultimately the way how he won his championships, he won it with three different teams, all right? And people, I think it would have been dope as hell if LeBron James would have won a championship with Cleveland and then ran it back and won another championship with Cleveland. And that's all the titles he would have ever mastered. And I felt like those two championships in Cleveland would have been more important than the 4 championships that he has now. If he would have won a championship with Cleveland, then ran it back and won it again with Cleveland, I think that would have been way more special than him winning 4 championships with 3 teams, or being in 10 finals but only winning 4. All right, to me, Jerry West did that, and Jerry West is the logo. A lot of people don't even know who Jerry West is. All right, so I would think it would have been dope if he would have done it that way. Okay, but I'm not hating on him. The way how he did it, you have to appreciate what he did. All right, you either respect it or you agree to disagree, and you just keep it moving. Okay, being disrespectful to his achievements serve no purpose to nobody. All right, it serves you no purpose. It serves me no purpose. It doesn't even serve the fans of basketball or even LeBron James any purpose. Okay, so but it is what it is. So yeah, I think I'm done. Let's see. Okay. Will that work? Says all messages are visible. See, the weird thing about this is, oh well, it is what it is. I'm up out of here. I apologize for the 3 messages that I missed. If you hit me up on the next live stream, if you still have those messages, just run them back, or just leave the messages at the bottom of this video when this video is done rendering. YouTube has been tripping. Every time I do a live stream, it takes almost damn near a day for the video to render. All right, so it is what it is. I'm up out of here. Deuces.